systems that they're regenerative. They give more than they take if they're used right. They're very high efficiency. There's no like bells and whistles, but you'll notice this chicken tract, the roof is only 2 feet tall. You know, I have a couple of pet peeves, and one would be a big tall building that you actually have to walk into. I don't want to walk in with the chickens if I don't have to. I mean, you guys might enjoy it. You might got names for all. You might be, she's looking at me like, don't go after my chickens. I'm the crazy chicken lady. Where are you going with this? You don't need a big tall thing. None of these are tall. They're only 2 feet tall. Chickens are only like a foot-ish tall. I think this chicken tractor was one of the first things. This chicken tractor, why do they call it a chicken tractor? Well, it's because you can put the chickens to work as if they're a tractor. If you put 4 birds in this full time on this spot in about 2 weeks, if you pull that off, they're all mobile. Everything must be mobile, everything. Even if we have it in a static run where the fence doesn't move, that coop can move inside of there. And manure falls through, and we can move the manure around in various spots in the run. 2 foot tall. Oh, I know what I was saying. 3 or 4 chickens in here. In 2 weeks, move it. And that's tilled. It's manured. The manure is going to attract the worms. It's ready for what I call a bulletproof garden. So the chickens have moved out. You have that there. You import some compost. Guys, compost can be overrated making it at home. It's hard to make. You got to shovel it. You got to get it up to 120 to kill all the weed seeds, all the toxins. Just buy your compost, especially if it's available. It's a bulletproof thing. You're gonna have much more success. You're gonna have no weeds in it. It's gonna, if you can get good compost. Now we're running into the situation where our good compost dried up, so we're making it. You move it out. You put compost on it. Then comes the weed barrier. You can do cardboard. We're concerned about some of the glues inside of cardboard that hold the cardboard to make it firm. So we use a DeWitt weed paper. You can get it on Amazon. It's a non-toxic paper that then we put over there. That's a weed barrier. And then, you know, I was into the Back to the Eden. You know what I'm talking about, guys? Back to the Eden wood chip gardening. I was into that. A practitioner for that. Is that the right word? And then I realized, as I started, you know, I was able to get wood chips from our public works. They go around and clear the trees for the city, and then that dried up. They went to a big tub grinder, and they're just hauling their mulch to the thing. So anyway, then I couldn't get wood chips, and I realized a lot of people can't get wood chips. But you know what you can get, most people? It's even better than wood chips. Cedar. Grass. Get you a catch on your mower and catch the grass clippings. And so on top of the weed barrier, we're going to put 4 inches or so of grass clippings, and that serves as a mulch. It breaks down quicker. It's going to be a nitrogen source. It's going to keep your soil moist under there. It's going to keep your weed free. I did this, guys. I did the bulletproof garden after chickens, and I literally pulled it out. I put down my compost, put down my weed barrier, the weed paper, then put down the grass clippings, and then got starts. So you can grow your own plant starts. You know what I'm talking about? You start seeds, and it grows up to about 4 weeks. That's what I'm talking about for a start, some sort of plant, okay? You can buy, did you guys know you can buy those? Like, we have no problem with buying chicks and getting them sent in the mail. We can start buying our starts. And yes, it's more expensive. It's quite a bit more expensive. I mean, $3 for a plant versus $3 for a pack of seed. But you don't think about with the pack of seed, you need to have a greenhouse or some way to keep it warm and all that work to bring it up. And a lot of them fail. It's okay as homesteaders, and we'll free you up. It's okay to outsource. You outsource and get your chicks. It's actually okay, especially in the beginning, to buy compost, get starts. If you wanted to go for it, that's fine, but just release some of that pressure. It's also okay to buy it, and you end up getting more abundance because you've incorporated the community into it, and they are specialists. They really know how to make compost. They really know how to start plants. But anyway, then if we move this out of the way, and we've got our material there, and we just, with our trowel, we dig down through the paper and right into that compost, and we put our start right into it. And then we kind of tuck everything back in, and I'm telling you, in a cold temperate climate like Western North Carolina, you just walk away. And you better mark it on your iPhone of when to harvest, or you forget all about it. And you might pass it every once in a while. You might see a few weeds made it through, but it's easy to pull in that mulch system. It's kept it moist. It's kept it weed free. Your plants, because you bought them in starts, have had a 4-week head start. So if even weeds do grow, they're not going to dominate. And you go back and harvest, and you can in just 1 square foot, 3 or 4 kales, 3 or 4 lettuces. You can grow a lot in that. So I did that. I called it a video called just type in Justin Rhodes on YouTube. Just type in Justin Rhodes Instant Chicken Garden, I think is what I called that. Okay, and so this is only 2 feet tall. Now, the chicken tractors, I did not invent the chicken tractor. I made it better. I took the chicken tractor and said, what's good about it? I like that they can till and create a garden. And actually, if you move that over, you left yourself a foot or 2 feet for spacing. So let's say you move that over, you can keep going around, moving it every 2 weeks. And by the time you come, we'll call it parade. Y'all want to see a real good show? Come somewhere between here and that church building 2 hours on Christmas about noon. We get all the stuff and we go on a parade. It's the greatest parade nobody has ever seen. So maybe somebody will show up one day and wave at us when we go by. What was I saying? Okay, so by the time you get back to here, 2 weeks times 9, however many weeks that is, 18? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, so how many days is that? I don't know. It's like 120-ish or something. So if you had planted pumpkins in here, one of your longest growing crops, you would harvest it down by the time the chickens come back around, and you can put this on it, and then they till up your old garden. Then they go in and get the pumpkins you didn't get and the greens you didn't get, and they're adding more and more stuff. And then you could keep going around, and you only need a place for 9 of these things. I mean, if you have very limited space and you have wood shavings or wood chips or grass clippings, you could keep 4 chickens here and then just start running deep bedding. So after they've worn it out, just every day put a little deep bedding over there. Just put a little sprinkle of Tractor Supply fine pine shavings on their manure, and then you built up until maybe you've built up half a foot, and then you might have to get a crate to put the chickens in, so then you can move this over, and then you have this, and then you pile that material up, and you have a little compost pile. This is probably the most versatile piece that we have in the lineup. Now, what if you want more than 4 chickens? And what if you don't want to till up the place? What if you actually want to, fertilize this little lawn here? Well, then you can have as many as 12 chickens in here. Just open the door. I added a door. As far as I know, a chicken tractor didn't have a door until I said, let's make a door. Now the chickens can get out. And hopefully you have them in a Premier One net, something like that, and they get out. And then you probably need to move the whole system. You maybe move this every day so they don't wear it out. You move this inside the net every day, and then you move that net once a week. Make sense? Okay, I talked about going in the coop. I don't want to go in with the chicken. I can get my eggs from the outside. My buddy Chris Slatter, he's helping me write this book, and added this. I didn't even have this before. I always kept them in the net and didn't really need it, but guys, you don't even need a fence for this if your chickens are in it all the time. And if you've watched the vlog, I've used this for a chicken tractor to get me a garden. I've put it on my raised beds. We built this, as I've perfected this over the years, I said this has to fit over our raised beds. This will fit over the do-it-yourself raised beds that are in the plans. And you can use your chickens to put it over a raised bed to till, to manure, or to flip a garden. These nest boxes are removable. Everything's self-cleaning. Dirt can fall through the bottom of this. When they manure, I don't go scoop it out. We got hooks on both sides so you can move it from that side or that side. Oh, it's on plastic decking. So the wood isn't in contact. The plastic decking makes it easier to move.
You can drag it
slides better and it prevents rot. This smells nice, right? This is new. This is cedar lumber. Cedar is naturally non-toxic and rot resistant. If you're on a budget, you could get pine. It'd be a lot cheaper, but then you do need to apply a oil finish to protect it from the elements, from rotting.
I heard cedar was bad for poultry, for their respiratory. Is it just if it's in chip form?
Yeah, it's not going to be at this level. They have so much ventilation, and it's going to off-gas soon enough. So I haven't had any problems with it because they're so well ventilated, and it's not like I'm putting 100 chickens in these things, and that's the only place they are.
How long have you had pigs?
2018, I think. So 5 years.
She's been wanting me to get pigs, and
Yeah.
I've always had the thought process that, you know, they're just so dirty and it's just going to be nasty and smelly, and
Exactly.
she's bumping me going, see, it doesn't stink.
Okay, now, that's what I say to the kids. I hate to break an argument. I don't want to break an argument. Well, first of all, you don't have to worry about nothing because all you have to worry about is yes, dear.
That's what my grandfather always
And
told me.
it doesn't matter if it stinks
100%.
or whatever. But actually, that was my fear too. I'm afraid they're going to be stinky. I'm afraid they're going to get out. They don't herd like other animals. Well, it took somebody offering us a couple little guinea hogs for us to finally get into it. But once we got into it, I have a movie, I think it's on, certainly in Abundance Plus, Permaculture Pigs, the documentary. It's 2-hour film on our first 2 years with pigs.
Oh, wow.
And it's so easy. And they don't stink. If you have them on deep bedding. And we raised 2 pigs in a 10 by 12. Guys, we called it the pig port because we got a carport that was 12 foot by 20, and half of it we put cattle panels, supported with T-posts, put some tin on the inside, put a foot of wood chips in the bottom of it. We kept pigs on one side of it, just 120 square feet, 2 pigs, a 12 by 20. So if your first year, you just get a couple of feeders. You buy some pigs in the spring, which we sell them, by the way, and we announce them to our members first. And then just that little area, you just put a little bit of deep bedding in there every day. You just put a scoop of wood chips. So we stored a pile of wood chips in the other half of it to keep it dry. If wood chips aren't dry, they're not going to absorb the urine and the manure. They need to be dry. Okay, and then just put a little wood chips in there. We raised 2 pigs, just feeding them garden scraps, cow manure, skim milk. We bought a 50-pound bag each for them. So we bought 100 feed, raised 2 pigs, $3,000 worth of pork.
Wow.
Wow.
In a carport.
Dang.
Okay, that was such a good system. We're bringing it back.
She's still nudging me over here, see?
We're gonna have a pig port that you fill with.
So I win, right?
Yeah,
I
she
win
wins
that
the
argument.
argument. She wins, 'cause that's what she wants. And you guys say you want to cultivate the garden of peace.
Yes, you're absolutely right, dear. Absolutely.
Hey, you asked for it. You asked for it. And then, but no, to prevent. Oh, they're gonna stink. They stink because people keep them in a lot, and they don't ever put any deep bedding in there. If they're gonna be in one spot, cover it. And guys, you can Ben Holt just harvested poplar logs from his woods that he wanted to clear and just put it in the ground and just erected and just had this slapped together shed on top of it, and you've got yourself a pig port. And put them in, even if you have to buy wood chips, guys, for $200, you buy a load of wood chips. That's all you need for the whole feeding season. And you've grown $3,000 for pork. Buy the $200 wood chips. You can't afford it, go ahead and sell one of those porks ahead of time on some friends.
Do you turn it?
Do you turn
Do you turn the bedding?
Good question. So they're on the bedding. Add a little bit of wood chips every day. Pigs are clean. They will poop in one corner. They have a little poop spot. So you'll build it up more on that one spot. So you just add the bedding, and then at the end, after you kill them and harvest them, then you can get out the material, put it in a pile, and start turning it for make compost.
Okay.
Or if you got a manure spreader, you could actually take it from this directly to your field. We could do that. We could take this material direct. That's what we've done here on a bigger scale. And this is actually, we found though, if you get to this critical mass, it's called the Korean natural method. Have you ever heard of that? If you get this to a critical mass and it becomes active enough, you don't even have to add any more wood chips. The microbial life is just, you don't smell anything here. I haven't added wood chips in a couple of months. It's just consuming the manure. Okay, so you get it deep enough, you get to a point where you don't even have to add any.